Hey there, everyone. Welcome to A Slice of Life with Kelly and John. Today, our guest is Louise Cordell, and she is a style coach, which everyone needs, right? Everybody needs their own style coach, especially if
Maybe
you're conscious of your
maybe
appearance.
I should have dressed up a little bit more this
Yeah,
time.
we should be a little more. Well, I did put
Right,
on
but
my
yeah, but
Keka.
you always look good. It's just that it's a little, and I'm telling this to a woman who's in England right now, but it's a little chilly here right now, and I don't think it's more than 31 or 32 degrees, which is 0 Celsius for you folks on the metric system, and uh, I just sorry,
You
I didn't
always look
think
polished, and you don't need to
I
be in a
always,
suit.
yeah, but I try to always, wear something with a collar or something like that. But it was just chilly, and I'm out here in the office slash sunroom, so it's a bit, it's a bit brisk because I
It's
have.
okay. It's a podcast, John. You can wear whatever
Yeah,
you
I
want.
know, but you
I
try to
have
look good.
sweatpants on if you
Es-
want to know, and
Especially
slippers.
when we have, somebody who is so
Yeah,
into a
style.
consultant of style.
Yeah,
So take it away because we're 2 minutes into this and we haven't let her say a word yet.
yeah.
So there
Tell
you
us,
go.
Louise, tell us about yourself and how you got involved in style.
Yeah, no, of course. Obviously, it's great to be here on the show today. Um, to be honest with you, it was one of those occupations that I've always been really drawn to. I mean, I absolutely love style, fashion. I mean, I used to do a lot of dressmaking as a kid, so it's always like, I suppose, in my blood, I suppose, and everything. And I mean, I absolutely love color, as you probably can tell. Absolutely love color and stuff. So it just seemed like a natural fit. And so it was one of those things I just Googled. I literally Googled sort of cool careers in fashion, like no joke. And then I came across the Style Coaching Institute and it sort of evolved from there. I mean, I really loved their messaging. I loved how it's not just about the outer image, it's the inner image as well. And it's like how we feel about ourselves. Because at the core of it, a lot of this is to do with feeling more confident because confidence is key. When we have confidence, we can achieve anything.
Yeah.
Without confidence, we sort of shrink, we sort of hide away. And our style wardrobe is just an amazing tool for doing that. So I did. So obviously, it really drew me to like train with them specifically. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. It's been for why I'm here
Love
now,
it. I
really.
love it. Yeah, I'm a style. I love style. And I go back and forth. I'm like, oh, I'm so superficial. I love clothes, but I love clothes, and that's a fun part
Hmm.
of life, especially as a
Yeah,
female, because I think
absolutely.
females we have more fun with color and all the different styles and things we get to do. But yeah, I gave up on trying not to be superficial. And as you said, it builds your I did. I'm superficial. I admit it. I like clothes.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
yeah.
liking clothes.
And I love the old the gowns that they wore. I don't know what eras they are, but through the eras, the vintage clothes and
Oh, it's
they used
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
like, oh, it was a portrait every day, the way the women dressed. Of course, a lot of them were uncomfortable with the corsets and everything, but so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. So what do you do? Do you coach individual people? Do you work with groups, businesses? What do you
Yeah,
do?
I mean, at the moment it's one to one, generally speaking, but I'm experimenting with different ways of delivering, so shall we say. So it's not just because of, again, some people love the one-to-ones, but other people absolutely love to sort of just have the information and work it out for themselves. So I'm looking at developing other resources like self-help guides, courses that people can buy and then they can just follow through themselves.
Yeah.
And like one I'm working on in particular at the moment is creating like a series of downloadable guides that are personalized to you, where the idea is you fill in a quiz and then I will obviously all online. This is obviously we can go global with this. You fill in the answers and then I will analyze your colors for you, your body shape, shop for you, and then package it up really pretty and send it across. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely do love doing the one-to-ones because I think sometimes there is no substitute for actually being face to face with someone.
So
So that's quite
this
nice having that
is
interaction.
what's great about this now, obviously, is that you don't have to do it to people within a 30 or 50-mile radius of you, like it
Exactly.
would have
Yeah. Like she
would
said,
have
it's global.
happened 30 years or so ago, 20 or 30 years ago. Now with this, you can have people
Help people all
or
over.
consult for people all
Yeah.
over the planet,
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
over the planet.
absolutely. And it's great because then you feel like you can have a wider reach almost. You
Yeah.
can actually influence more women and men, of course. I
Does
mean,
the
we're not discounting
geography
that you, again, it works for everyone, really.
Does the
Yeah.
geography of where those people are, the culture of that country, also come into this in a way that you've never had to obviously deal, or people before you have never had to deal with before?
Yes.
Because you know what works for somebody in France certainly would not work for somebody in India or Nepal or
Sure.
China or even Australia. You know, especially for times of year where
Yes.
on the other side or south of the equator, it's a different season completely.
Yeah. The weather
Uh,
changes.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
absolutely. That's why it's all bespoke. You work with whoever you're working with. It's all to do with like what they want and their sort of needs, I suppose, and their lifestyle. Because yeah, because you're very much right. Obviously, different climates, obviously different ways of dressing. It's also different, yeah. And it's quite noticeable actually, but yeah, you do this sort of like when you speak to like sort of women who like live in sort of different countries, you realize kind of what they want is maybe unique compared to what, say, I don't know, what we want in the UK or like I said in the States. So yeah, you do. You just kind of go with the flow a little bit. It's one of those where you can have a framework if you like, so to speak, of how we do things, but you can't replicate that strictly for everyone. You've got to be a bit flexible, and that's where the creativity comes in. And it's quite nice when you can sort of mix it up and just change things just to suit that individual.
Do you is it I'm taking a shot here. Is it primarily women, but I'm sure you have male clients also, or do you just deal with women?
At the moment, I just deal with women, but I think there's scope over time as hopefully the platform builds up and we get like a really good sort of not just sort of hub for one-to-ones, but an educational platform too.
Right.
I think then we can sort of expand it a little bit more. But yeah, because again, again, we're trained in male styling just as much as female styling, and it's a different way of approaching it. Because yeah, like you said, when you go through the shops, I think Kelly just said this just now. When you go through the shops, obviously for us women, it's full of color, it's different styles. Whereas when you go around the men's department, it's always very different in sense that it's all sort of bit samey sometimes. It's all like sort of more of the same, and they don't have the same
Yeah.
vibrancy maybe. So again, it's even looking for different retailers that maybe offer an alternative to what you see on the like high street shops. Because yeah, sometimes you look through and you go, I see a lot of grey. Like I think I was looking through the other day for my boyfriend, and it was like browns and greys, and that's it. And it's like, surely there's got to be a bit more than that. And he's like, nope. Welcome to being in the men's department.
Well, they're ties. They get to get creative with the ties. That's
That's
where they get to
true.
have some
Yeah.
fun with their ties. But still, yeah, the suits, and they're very pricey, very expensive. Usually they're suits. So
Oh,
good thing
yes.
they don't have to buy too many, one,
No, that's true.
maybe
Quality
five
over
or 10.
quantity, I think.
Yeah. But so how does color play into it? Because I read you're also a color expert. And so does color like matter to certain people, certain hair color, how do you determine somebody's color?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely adore color analysis. It's probably one of my favorite things we can do because I always say it's like a really good entry step. If you've never done personal styling before, or you're a little bit nervous, or you just feel like you just want to kind of a little quick sort of like, how should we say, a little sort of makeover, let's just say. Then color is a brilliant way of doing that because it just allows us to sort of just add a little bit of pop into your outfits and just kind of jazz
Hmm.
it up a little bit.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously in person, obviously we do like the sort of traditional way of doing with the color drapes, and you can sort of see the effect it has on your skin tone, your hair color, and your eye color. Whereas online, it's about submitting your headshot, obviously in natural daylight, because obviously we've got to make sure we can clearly see your features. And then I've got like digital color swatches, which I put underneath. And then it's surprising because I tried this when I first started out. I got a lady who I was doing an in-person colors for. obviously she agreed to do this, and she gave me a headshot, and I put it in the online presentation template that I've got. And it's really funny because how I got the exact same result both times around. Because a lot of people go, is it as accurate? And I'm like,
Mhm.
it is. And it can be, provided obviously you know what you're looking for.
Right.
But it is, it's about finding colors that gel, yeah, like with your skin, your hair, and your eyes. Because that's what, because I mean, and we go by like, how, light or dark your features are. Because again, that influences what colors we choose, how sort of bright, your features are, or how soft they are, or how warm or cool. And again, the same plays with makeup colors. Because again, for some women, wearing sort of warm browns will look natural, but for others, it will make them look like they're a clown, which again, we want to avoid. Um, Again, hair color is very important in the process because again, my color analysis focuses on all three of these aspects because a lot of them don't. Because that's one thing I noticed that a lot of color analysis are just focusing on the sort of color palettes rather than, hang on a sec, we have our makeup here, we have our hair,
Right.
and yeah. So when it's like with hair colors, I mean, I don't know, Kelly, when you were younger, did you ever dye your hair like blonde, for instance?
No.
I did.
I never changed
I
my
did.
hair color, but I do color it now. So the grays don't show. Um,
Wouldn't be able to tell. It's like, it's like sometimes when we're younger, it's like I went through a phase when I was like
yeah,
probably 17 where I went brunette and it looks okay, but it doesn't look right, if that makes sense. It's sort of,
yeah,
it just looks a little bit offish.
yeah.
Because I always sort of say to people that when it comes to hair color, to go within a few tints, tones, or shades of their natural color if you want it to sort of still gel well. Because sometimes, I mean, yes, there'll be exceptions where someone will suit both ends of the scale, but
Yeah.
sometimes when we go completely drastically different, it doesn't always look natural. So it's all
What
about
I
finding
take it
colors that
back.
are,
That reminds me, I did what used to call frosting, where they frost they and blonde. So I had blonde streaks all through my hair. So I take
yes,
that
yes,
back. I did do that, and I didn't stick with it because it just didn't fit me. It didn't work.
yes.
So yeah, I get that. Natural, nature makes you perfectly, I guess,
Exactly.
the way
That's
you're
the
supposed
thing.
to.
It's about enhancing what we've already got. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with obviously putting any highlights or lowlights in your hair or
Yeah,
dyeing it just slightly differently. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not saying not to do that. I mean, I do the same.
yeah,
But yes, but when we go drastically different, it's quite obvious.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like it just doesn't because again, it's also to do with it's again if you go from like being like a sort of cool icy blonde, platinum blonde to a dark, rich, warm brunette, it's going to look really out of place because if you've got sort of more of a
Right.
cooler sort of complexion and then you go for a really warm hair color, it's just going to look a bit mismatch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my big thing, my hair is boring. I've always just kind of even styled it variations of the same way. But I really get crazy with clothes. I really, I love ruffles and bows and I love I wish I could think of the time period, but like the French where they even the
Yes.
furniture back then, the ruffles and the bows and the corsets and um I of course we don't wear those kind of gowns anymore, but I wouldn't have minded living back then because the outfits were just so
I'm gonna
beautiful.
leave. I don't need to be a part of this conversation. I can't relate
Why?
to it at all.
Oh,
But
don't you love a girl all dressed up?
no, I still can't relate. You have to understand, and I don't mean to bring this down a little bit, but you're talking to somebody who, when I was in first grade, second grade, I would come home with letters from the teacher saying, "You better get John's eyes examined. He's making the bark on the trees green and the leaves brown." Uh, John wound up being, there are various levels of color blindness, and John has the most rarest and the, I guess, worst of color blind. I cannot see shades of things. I can
Wow.
only see the dominant color that is around there. I'm looking at my
Oh,
window now at leaves on the ground, and they just don't inspire me. Color never did it for me. But other than, I can see colors. It's just I can't see all the shades. So clothes for me were, white shirts, blue, black, or gray, or brown suits. to a degree. Prince never really, I never got off on that, but only because, and when I lived in LA, Kelly, and you'll get a
Mhm.
kick out of this, I had a friend, she worked at Nordstrom's as a personal shopper,
Uh-huh.
and she would come over to my house and organize my closet on the back on labels and stuff. I had a
Oh.
code so that I could wear this shirt with this pants, or these sweaters with this, or
She
this
was your style coach. You had a style coach.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
your own
yeah.
personal stylist.
There you go. Before it was a maybe before it was a common name. Plus, also when I was in the corporate world back in the 90s, MetLife, major corporation, they had people who would come around and sort of grade you on your attire, and
Oh,
you
wow.
they had very strict rules in the home office down on 23rd Street and Park Avenue. One day after working in LA for 3.5 months for the company, they sent me out there, and I came back to New York, and I wore my some clothes that I bought in California, a suit or maybe a sport jacket and some pants, and I came into the main lobby. And by the time I got up to the 10th floor where our office was, the main receptionist had called my boss, who met me as I was walking to my office, to tell me to go home and put on either a black, blue, or gray suit and take off that crazy California clothes I was wearing. And so I was like, sure, no problem. And I got back in the elevator, went home, and put on a pair of jeans and hung out in my house all day. No, so but they were that strict. But
Oh,
there is, maybe back in the 90s, I don't know about now, but there was something professional about the way that we would dress and we had to
yeah,
look in
wow.
order to get those. Not, when I say MetLife, it wasn't to get a $100,000 life insurance policy. It was to get a $300 million policy
Oh, yeah.
from a specific company, or a union or an
It was like
organization.
corporate insurance,
It
right?
was, oh yeah, it
Yeah, so
was
that's big
major.
time.
Yeah. So we had to. They felt that by us looking a certain way, and at that time it very well may have applied. But anyway, I didn't mean to break in with that. You two
Yeah.
keep going, because
No.
I'm I'm
No,
sure
you're
the
fine.
audience, no,
Yeah.
I'm sure the audience wants to hear about what Louise can do for them, not about what I can't even do for
Well,
myself.
hearing your story will teach some people, oh, some men in the crowd might think, oh, I have problems with color too.
Well, if
So
most
maybe I
men,
need a style coach.
just so you know, again, statistically, because I've spent years looking into this, most men with blue eyes um, are colorblind. And the gene only comes through their mother's side of the family. If I had kids, and my wife, or the mother of the kid, did not have that gene, the child would not get it from me. Though, and again, my mother was not colorblind, but it came through that side of the family. There you go, a little bit of history,
Yeah,
folks.
see, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And now
Fun
back
fact of the
to our
day.
show. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Well, and
go.
I find that color also sets a tone for the other person, their impression of you, because color stirs moods, different moods, happy and sad and gloomy and fun. And so, if you wear a bright yellow outfit, you're gonna go, she's fun. I would think
Yeah,
that. I would think this is
exactly.
a happy, fun person rather than just, all black. Although you can take a nice black outfit and give it a little accent with a red scarf or, you know,
Yeah, I
see,
was just going to say that actually, just like an
I
accent
can be
color.
your
That's all the sums you
assistant.
need. Yeah, you
I can
could.
help you.
Exactly. Just a little pop of color sometimes. 'Cause you can have an all neutral outfit, but if we just add like a little red or a bit of green or something, but it just makes it a little bit more interesting. But again, it's like a bit like John was saying, like some people don't necessarily want to have lots of color in their outfits. They like it a bit more simple. And that's fine too, because some people's style preferences are geared towards that. Whereas other people, if you've got a more creative or dramatic sort of style, then again, we're going to be more drawn to color. So again, that all plays into it too, and kind of how you are as a person. Because again, color can invoke so many different emotions, and it's kind of finding what sort of works for you. Because again, some people, it's like blue, for instance, conveys professionalism, hence why the blue suits. Black's like authority. Again, that's why a lot of guys wear those suits to, in corporate. So you can kind of see why these color choices are chosen quite intentionally. But I think it's a little bit different actually now. I think people are sort of more sort of about jazzing it up a little bit more than maybe they would have done maybe 20, 30 years ago. So, I mean, everything changes and you sort of just go with the flow a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and also if you're on a limited budget, you kind of like things that can mix and match, especially in the female wardrobe, but the male wardrobe too. So you
Hmm.
can change the shirt, but have the jacket and the pants all
Yeah,
match.
I love capsule wardrobes. I mean, I that's one of
Yeah.
my sort of principles is, we take it all the stuff we've learned and then we try and create like that mix and match wardrobe and because again, and I feel like when you've got less pieces and you're more likely to also invest in getting the best that you can justify to,
Yeah.
which is quite nice because then you have pieces that will last, that will stand the test of time. Because
Yeah.
what you often quite see is that like women, men as well, they go through the cycle where they buy lots of sort of cheaper, sort of fast fashion pieces, and then it all just ends up in the landfill, and it always feels so wasteful.
Yeah.
So even from a
True.
sustainability point of view, it's quite nice when you can just pick really good quality pieces that you can use in so many different outfits, and then you can layer them, you can accessorize, and make them your own, really. I mean, you could even take like a basic T-top and make it your own. It's just about having that sort of vision and that creativity, which is sometimes like when we create outfits for like people, it's like very much like that. We create like the outfit board so you can kind of visualize it as well. Because I think sometimes some people find it really hard to kind of see it in their sort of mind. Once they can see it, then I think it also kind of opens up more possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, when I had to go, I work from home now, but when I used to have to go to the office every day, I had a whole wardrobe of black pants. I had like 20 pairs of black pants, maybe more. And then I would do different jackets and different blouses, but I always wore black pants. And I'm sure people probably thought they were the same pair of pants, but they were, they were
Yeah.
tapered differently in the leg and they were different styles. But it just went with everything. And I'd have my black shoes because I didn't want to get up in the morning and have to spend a lot of time figuring out what I was going to wear. So I put on my black pants, I can grab any jacket and blouse and I'm set. So I just
Yeah.
did it the easy way.
No, again, it's all about making it easier because again, you could stand in front of your wardrobe for so long going, I have no idea what I'm going to wear today. But when you have these mix and match pieces, it does make it easier. Because again, you think of like how many hours we have in the day. I mean, I always say we never have enough hours in the day
I
for
know.
doing everything.
Yep.
So if you can save time in some tasks, such as getting dressed, then that's always a bonus.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking on your website. So you don't have the quiz yet where you can do a
The
quiz.
quiz you get sent once you've gone through the motions of like kind of
Okay.
signing up for it and going
Okay.
through the sort of paywall. Because then the quiz will get sent to you and then you can sort of fill it in and it pings back straight away in the CRM system. We think of all these things, all the automations.
Awesome. Yeah, I see the color analysis and the color charts and personal shopping. So a long time ago, I wanted to be a stylist for the entertainment industry when I was living in Los Angeles. And a friend of mine set me up. He took me on set and introduced me to the whatever, I forget what they're called, the head stylist. And it was really cold. And we went in the trailer and they had all the clothes and I was like, clothes, I love clothes. Because you're dressing the actors. And I'm like, oh my God,
Oh
how fun would
yeah.
that be to dress Angelina Jolie?
Yeah.
Buy clothes, go shopping and buy clothes for her. But it was really, really cold. And I was like, it's really cold in here. Could I bring a heater? And they're like, no, probably not. So I'm like, okay, never mind. That was my stylist career. I gave up on that because I didn't want to be in a freezing
In a
trailer
cold room.
in the morning. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like such a fun job. And how lucky are you or anyone that finds a job that they love to use their talents and their skills, that you have, you're special, what's special about you to make a career out of it. So that's awesome. And you are in London in the UK?
I'm in the south, so I'm in Hampshire. So we're
Okay.
about an hour away from London. So if
Okay.
I needed to nip into London, I could. It's not unfeasible.
Okay. Is that where there's great shopping? I always hear there's good shopping in London, or no?
Yes, I mean we have sort of world class sort of shopping streets. We have Oxford Street, we have Regent Street. I mean you'll have Harrods, Harvey
Yeah.
Nicks, you have all the sort of leading sort of
Yeah.
department stores. But we're
Now,
quite lucky sort of down in Hampshire as well, because I mean we have quite a lot of the major high street
Okay.
brands. But
probably,
which again, so 'cause it's always quite nice, like, to sort of introduce even like sort of clients in the US, introduce them to UK brands too, and vice versa. It's
Yeah.
quite nice to have that flexibility where
Yeah.
because I think it's always quite good when you can kind of see like, like, oh, actually, if you would never have thought of shopping there otherwise,
Right.
because sometimes you might find that one piece that you'd be like, do you know what? I'm absolutely glad I found that. I mean, I would never have even thought of that before.
Yeah.
well, before, probably, definitely before Louise was born, probably before you were born, Kelly. My parents, as a very young child, sent me to England to stay with friends when I
Oh,
was a kid. In when I was, let me think, when I was just about 13 or 14 years. I think I spent my 14th birthday there. And this was during the era that England swings, and before they had all those other shops, though they always had Harrods, they had Carnaby Street. That was their big street of fashion. I don't know if you recall any of that, Louise, if if any of that still exists today. But,
Oh, I'm not sure actually.
Carnaby Street was the
It
big
probably does. I wouldn't be
street.
surprised.
It was like the Greenwich Village area of that time.
oh,
And I came back, um, with half a suitcase full of, cool British clothes at the time,
uh,
heavy turtleneck sweaters, a wool type hat, and I mean it was really great. Unfortunately, I grew out of them rather quick, but yeah, if it's a shame that the name of that street no longer has the value that it did uh,
yeah.
several decades ago. Um, so there you go. That's my little throw out to England. But yes, it is. I would think London is as much of a fashion capital is to okay, certainly the United Kingdom, maybe Paris and Milan are
Yeah.
also the
New
big
York.
ones. But New York, I would say London is to Europe as what the fashion is in New York too. They probably go a little overboard in London the same way they do in New York here
Mm.
with Fashion Week. I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, I don't keep up. I don't
You
get
don't go to
invited.
all the fashion
I don't get
shows?
invited to any of the parties at all.
Aw. Do you ever go to fashion shows like the high fashion, Louise?
Do you know what? I haven't. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna make it on my mission within the next year or two, but I've got to do it. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was like sort of it's always like one of those things I'm always sort of thinking I'd love to do. I'd love to sort of go sit in London Fashion Week,
Yeah.
see some of the shows. I mean, I'd have fun. I don't know if anyone else I know would.
Yeah,
Who
I think
knows?
any female would love to see that. I mean, a lot of it's overdone. It's clothes you probably wouldn't wear anywhere or
Oh
buy.
yeah, it's over the
But
top. It's very avant-garde, it's
yeah,
some of it you'd be thinking, I'm not going to wear that down the street. But then every other pieces you go, do you know what? I love that. That's
yeah.
so amazing.
But it's the
Yeah,
show, it's the entertainment of it and the
exactly. It's like a
excitement of
theatre
it.
show.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
theatrical. They put on a show on purpose. I mean, it gets them the publicity, they get the
Yeah.
pictures, so they're obviously doing something right.
Yeah. 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 I would love to see one of those high fashion shows. That would be fun. Well, do you have anything? I will put your website down below so people can find you. And
Oh, that'd be amazing. Thank
we
you.
we know now that you are global, so it doesn't matter where they are.
No,
Um, they
does
can
not matter.
contact you and
There's
you
no
can
boundaries
help them
in that
out. And
way.
yeah, and spruce us up here in America and make us look better in the US.
Do you know what's funny? I always find when I speak to like ladies in the US, you guys seem so much more into it than they are. I don't feel like ladies in the UK are as into it. I mean, I always say that we're only like a handful of years behind the States anyway, so I'm sure over time it
No,
will change. And
we've
in
lost.
Europe as well, it'd be more of a thing. But
America has lost that.
Yeah.
really,
My
Yeah, we've
opinion,
become more
my opinion.
sloppy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was a time. There was a time when people would go to church. Uh, they would dress
All
up.
dressed up.
They would dress up. Now they go in,
Jeans.
sweatpants or jeans and
oh,
And
sneakers.
flying on the
Uh,
airline, you always had to be really dressed up. Now
the
you wear
people, yeah,
sweatpants, something comfortable.
absolutely. Even, I remember certainly when even not in the 90s, I think they sort of started to definitely slack off in the 90s. But during my rock and roll days in the 70s and into the 80s and stuff, we would have long hair, denim jackets, t-shirts, jeans, sneakers, or boots, and get on a plane, and we were looked at as,
Look like the rock
oh,
star.
yeah,
yeah.
and everybody else would be dressed, but now it's not that way. We
Well,
don't care. Even
we're
when you go to a mall, when you go shopping, when you go something like that, it's a sad state that nobody cares about their own appearance much anymore
Mm.
when it's just a social environment or a day-to-day environment. Maybe when they have to get dressed up to go out, they put a tad more effort into it. But and maybe, Kelly, maybe a lot of that had to do also with COVID, where we didn't go and do business anymore.
I got used to
We
wearing
stayed home.
sweatpants.
It's like you said,
Yeah.
as long as you put on a decent shirt, you can have a pair of shorts on
I
underneath
just
it.
think we've become more practical. Life's more complicated. Everything's more expensive. I think our economy is a big part of it too. And people are just, and I want to say less superficial, but we're not. We're a very superficial country. We're very about appearances but I think the younger generations are on to that and they're changing and they're looking at value instead of substance, the surface. And I
Mm.
think that's a positive step forward. Um, LA still, style was important, still there. I think it's still important, but I just don't think it's as big as it once was. I don't think, we've gotten
Sounds like you need
sloppier.
help.
We've gotten sloppier.
You need my help, Ben.
We do, Louise. So we will spread the
Yeah.
word, tell people to contact you, get back
Thank
because it's
you.
true. Because when you're feeling sloppy, you don't feel confident.
Pro-
You don't
or
feel like,
productive. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Exactly. And when
yeah,
it does affect everything else in your life, it's a ripple
yep,
effect.
yep, absolutely. So thank you for sharing that information with our audience and us and reminding us that what is it? What's that line? I can't remember it. Something about you are what you feel or you feel what you are. I don't know. Something like that. But
I know what you mean, don't worry.
look the part, dress the part. Well, I remember in acting class, they always used to tell us a couple times we would do scenes and you'd have to bring the outfit to wear for the scene. And a couple
Yes.
times I brought the outfit, but I'd like hang it on the door or something and I wouldn't put it on. And my teacher was like, you have to put it on so you feel the part. You have to
You
feel
get
it.
absorbed in the role then, don't you?
Yeah,
Because I think
yeah,
it's a bit like I've heard like in interviews like actors and stuff has all said that once they get in the character, like dressed like
yeah,
the character, they feel like the character too.
yeah.
Right, right.
And the same applies to our
I
wardrobes.
And right, because the better you look, the better you feel.
yeah,
At least that's when I have to do that.
yeah,
Okay, except
yeah.
for the shirt. I'm sorry,
You
but
look
you
great. You look
thank you,
great. You
thank you,
always look
thank you.
great. You're all dapper. You're a dapper,
Wow.
handsome man. Yeah, he always looks great.
But when you really need to put on a good appearance, it makes you feel better too. It gives you a feeling of confidence in yourself.
The only thing I will say is unless you have really uncomfortable shoes on, because I
Oh,
remember buying
yes.
some really hot, pretty shoes, and they were so uncomfortable, and I couldn't wait to get home to get them off. So I wish the shoemakers would get better at making pretty shoes that are very comfortable.
Yeah, there is a real issue with that because, yeah, and the shoes that always look really amazing and not always the comfiest to wear for a long
Yeah,
period of time.
yeah,
Oh,
I,
yeah. I
I,
mean,
I,
at the end of the day, comfort is key. You do need to feel comfortable in what you're wearing.
absolutely.
I know Louise doesn't know, any of my books or anything like that, and Kelly, knows about them and stuff, but there's a certain bunch of guys I hung out with that I wrote a book about, my first book, way back when, and we used to go to Las Vegas, and one of them said something that I will always remember, and this is going back to the mid 70s. You could tell a lot about a man about the shoes that he wears.
Yep.
If the shoes are dirty,
Yep.
scuffed, and worn,
Yep. Yeah,
so
I've
is
heard
he.
that before too. The
You
shoes
know,
and the
and
watch.
you know,
They used to say the
Yes.
well,
watch too.
nobody wears them much anymore,
Yeah.
and I have
You
a
carry a
great
phone now.
collection of
Yeah.
them.
But back then it
You
was
know,
the shoes and the watch.
but yeah, he always and I think about that every time I dress up. It's like, just make sure that they're polished, make sure they look good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
and even my sneakers, as soon as they start to wear a little bit, and the next one's coming. But that you see, I'm psychotic like that. I found a sneaker that works for me, the Reebok Classic, by the way, folks. I found it way back in like the late 80s or early 90s. And when I buy them now, I buy 5 to 6 pair at a time and
Mhm.
put them away. And I go through them and
Yeah. I have my favorite
I
shoes that I do that with too. Buy them
you
every
know
year.
so
Yeah.
I'll be breaking in another new pair very soon too because crummy
Yeah.
weather outside is smudged these. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Louise, thank you so much. It's been
Yeah.
wonderful. And if you have anything that you want to impart to not just
Yeah.
Americans or Brits, but anybody
Any style
everybody on
tips? A
the
final
planet,
style tip.
what do you got?
Oh, my style. Well, I suppose the best style tip I can actually give is wear what feels good to you. Which
Okay.
I know sounds very generic, but it's true. You've got to
Yeah.
be comfortable in what you wear. If you don't
Right.
enjoy wearing it, then it's probably not the piece for you. You've got to actually get a little bit excited. A bit like probably how we do, Kelly, when we go around the department stores, how you
Yeah.
feel like a kid in a candy store.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that one too. And that's a very it's where you start. You have to feel good about
You
what you're
do.
wearing
That is at the
first.
very, very core of what
Yep.
of having a good sense of style is feeling good
Yeah.
in it. If you don't feel good, you're not, it's not for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Louise. And we will post her video and hopefully put some style back in our lives, some of the lives of people
No, thank
in
you for
this.
having me. It's been
Yeah.
amazing chatting to you both.
You too.
Very
Okay,
wonderful.
thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
All views expressed in this video belong to Kelly Nicholson, John D'Amore, and guests. These discussions do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which they have been affiliated now or will be in the future. The opinions expressed are solely theirs, and since they are critically thinking human beings, these views are subject to change, subject to revision, and subject to rethinking at any time. These conversations are not meant to be taken as advice and are only for the purpose of entertainment. All statements may be based on hearsay and not necessarily valid proof of any claims in this video. It is not our intention to teach or advise on any topic. Unless otherwise noted, all photos are public domain. Thanks for watching A Slice of Life with Kelly and John.